Thanks for checking out a new episode of Bad Advice with Chris Cubis, the show where unqualified people give unsolicited advice. This week I'm joined by comedians Jaffer Kahn and James Fritz. We get into some funny conversations. The pandemic is stressing people out, and also maybe men are terrible. Give it a listen. Thanks for checking out another episode of Bad Advice, the show where unqualified people give unsolicited advice. Thanks for hanging out. Thanks for checking out the podcast. Thanks for telling your friends to check out the podcast. We fucking love it. I just found out that our state decided, fuck it. I don't care if you die. Like our governor just announced that they're like, no masks. Everything's back to open. We're just going to fucking pretend that there's not a pandemic and see how that goes for a while. So
freedom isn't free.
Freedom is what's the problem? It is entirely free for the people in charge of charging you for shit. Like, it's very free for rich people. The rest of us have to pay with our lives, apparently. I hate to say we, because I am very lucky to be in a position where I get to work from home, and I am half vaccinated because I'm fat, and that worked out in my favor for once. But all of my friends are in the service industry. All my friends, I have people that just own bars, and now it's already hard enough for them to like tell people to wear a mask, but now they're going to be like, Captain fucking Wheelchair says I don't have to wear a mask, so fuck you too. So yeah, I'm a little hot. I'm coming in this podcast a little hot. That being said, I am joined this week by two hilarious comics. Up first, James Fritz. How's it going, buddy?
Good, man. I like you hot. This
I'm
is good. This
coming
is
in
my
mad
speed every day.
Yeah, it's fucking wild. Like, I have managed, I don't know about you, but I've managed to like maintain through this pandemic with just like spurts of rage as opposed to like constant rage that I would have expected from myself, and I was kind of proud of that. But those spurts are coming like closer and closer together recently.
Yeah, rage is a marathon, not a sprint. That's important to remember.
Yeah, it's turning into a stream.
Yeah.
That other voice you just heard was Jaffer Kahn. Jaffer, how are you?
What's up? I'm good, man. Thanks for having me.
Glad to have you. You've done this once before. Unfortunately, we had audio issues, so this is you're new to the podcast. Tell people where you're from.
I'm from Houston, so
yeah.
I relate with. It is a roller coaster living in Texas, man. Now I live in Brooklyn.
Yeah. They don't regulate roller coasters either, I bet.
yeah, no, for sure, absolutely not. There is no such thing as a height requirement for a roller coaster in Texas.
Yeah.
It's just like, you got to be at least this free to ride this ride, and it's just a
Dude.
picture of
Right.
Alex Jones, and that's it.
Yeah.
Safety bars are for communists.
I don't know.
A 3-year-old says build the wall, and they let him on.
I have not. You say that a lot. I don't think I've been to an amusement park in Texas, and I've had the opportunity, and I wonder if subconsciously my brain was like, no man, they're not tightening them bolts, like you can't.
No, it's fine. Astroworld was great, man. I went to an amusement park in Karachi, and so in Pakistan, and that gave me perspective on regulation.
I gotta ask,
Texas isn't that bad.
I'm really hoping I don't come across as ignorant as I'm sure I'm going to. What is that like? I can't I have no idea of what Karachi is like as far as like a city. Like, how is it like, a major metropolis area, or is it a little more rural? I don't know what it's like, right?
It's a giant city. Lots of it's like in the most densely populous part of the world, and there's a lot of poverty there. So you see just a lot of poverty. But it's it's a cool city. All brown people. That was
Mm-hmm.
that was two things hard to get used to. One, the poverty, and two, just like, wow, everyone's brown. Everyone's the same. But the amusement park was more like a. You ever been to like a traveling, like a fair comes through town?
Yeah.
That's all we got where I'm from, Western Kentucky.
I was gonna ask James, you're from, because I know you're in LA now, but you're from where? You said Western Kentucky?
Yeah, and we would get the traveling one, and man, and I loved it. But in retrospect, I was like, most of these guys didn't have all 10 fingers. Like, I don't think anyone was.
It's really like hobbled together,
Yeah.
It was that sort of a feel.
So I grew up in upstate New York, and we had the traveling fair for sure, absolutely. But and this people are now more familiar with it because of the HBO doc. We were in traveling distance to Action Park. My senior class trip, 1995, class of 1995, our senior class trip, they took us to Action Park. A school sanctioned trip took us to fucking Action Park, where there were, I mean, if you haven't seen the documentary, it was chaos.
I haven't watched it yet, but I listen to I'm a longtime Best Show listener. Tom Sharpling would talk about it all. That would people like die there every other year?
I mean, there were definitely deaths there. I think it was more about there were injuries every single day that park was open. Like there was like, that's not even like a huge exaggeration. It's really not. Yeah. Obviously those injuries are on a scale, but there was they had a thing called the Alpine Slide, which was like you took a ski lift up to the top of this fucking, we'll call it a hill, maybe somewhere between a hill and a mountain. And you sat on like a little cart that was like just big enough for your ass, like you would like ride around the gym with in high school, like elementary school. And then you went down these like kind of tracks that were carved into the mountain, but you were in charge of it. There was just, if you hit the brake, you hit the brake. If you didn't, you didn't. And you would just fly off this track, and there were like hay bales, or like everybody left there with just your skin tore off your fucking arms and your knees.
Personal responsibility.
It was a very Texas fucking amusement park. There was they had these speedboats that you could ride, these little tiny like kind of go-karts but in the water, and you had to have a driver's license to ride them. And I didn't have my driver's license yet. The first time we went, I was like maybe 14 or whatever, or 15, but I was with some kids that had their license. But they had, like, in New York, you got a temp license that didn't have a picture on it. It was just like a cardboard thing. So we were like working out this whole scheme. All right, you guys go first. You're gonna pass out the license back after he looks at it, and I'll take it to like trying to get the license to me. We get to the line. The guys clearly watched us do all that, and he was just like, I don't give a shit, guys. Just get in the boats. Like, he did not. There was no fucking, nobody gave a shit.
We would go to Opryland, which was like the safest ride you've ever, for like elderly people. Like, there was one you'd get kind of wet on. It would go about 1 mile an hour. Yeah.
What was the best ride in the Karachi amusement park? So they have like, is it like Ferris wheels and that kind of shit, and like,
I don't remember. I was so young.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't think I got on any of them. I think I was there. I was like, I think this is a time where I'm supposed to protect my little sister from things. Yeah. Because it was like me with my cousins, you know, we were all like kids.
Yeah.
And I was like, we're not going to go in any of these. And we just walked around.
Yeah. So as you can see, the people on this podcast have some good sense about them. So let's see if we can answer advice well for people. Let's go ahead and jump into a couple of these letters, because I do want to talk. So I should ask, are you familiar with Dear Abby as a concept?
Oh yeah, big John Prine fan. So
okay.
He's got a song called Dear Abby.
Yeah.
And,
Rest in peace.
I remember,
right?
And I'm old enough to kind of remember that, or like the modern facsimile of it would be like in the papers and stuff.
Yeah, it'd be in the paper, absolutely. So okay, just so we are all on the same, because I have had people on this podcast who agreed to do the podcast, and then they're like, I have no idea what you're talking about. Oh, okay, that's odd, but sure. So let's go ahead and jump into a couple of these letters. Let's do, which one do I want to start with? Let's do, oh yeah, I like this one. Dear Abby, my mother has become very quote unquote spiritual over the last 8 years or so. Recently has become all-consuming and on the verge of becoming detrimental. She often refers to her guides. She says they are feelings, but I think she's getting brainwashed by human guides online who have convinced her to withdraw thousands of dollars from her bank before the second wave of COVID hits. I recently became engaged. We don't plan to be married until 2022, so our guests can have a fun, safe time at our wedding. Mom wants to take a mediumship certification course, which will last 18 months. The actual certification is scheduled for the month we told her we want to get married. So now she's trying to guilt me into changing the date. She copied me on the email she sent to the teacher, in which she said she would try to direct me to choose a different date. I let her know she's not going to dictate our wedding day, but is there something more here that needs to be addressed? Signed, certifiably annoyed. Now I have a question to which I have the answer. You'll see what I mean. Do either of you know what a mediumship certification is?
Back in my day, a mediumship was a not big boat.
Come on now.
Oh man, I didn't know this was that kind of podcast. I have to have my soundboard queued up.
I'm sorry about that.
No,
No, that was great.
I enjoy learning the new term mediumship. So I guess it's an apprenticeship to learn how to speak to dead people, right?
You nailed it. Except that, I mean, it's you're pretty much it. I did have to Google it because I did not know. This is when I found for a mediumship diploma course, because you do need to have some documentation to prove that you are certified. Learn about the role of a medium, enhance your spiritual skills, discover the interconnectivity of energy, just transcend spiritual realms, connect with otherworldly beings, and create a business to help others communicate with their loved ones. I love that it's America. Go ahead.
No, I just love it's 18 months to become a medium.
About a year and a half to talk to
like ghosts. 4 times as long as it takes to become a cop, right?
Yeah. Well, usually what happens here is you become a cop and then somebody needs a medium, right? So like
you make the dead people.
You make ghosts.
Then they talk. Right.
Dude, cops are in the pockets of mediumship. Big I don't know.
Big medium.
You get the joke I was trying to do. I got it halfway up there. It was a wobbly throw, but you caught it, and I appreciate that.
We're running and gunning.
We all love it. Do either of you have any experience with people with, let's call them more niche beliefs when it comes to spirituality? Also, are either of you particularly religious?
I am not.
I am not either. Yeah,
no. I was raised Southern Baptist, so I am not religious. Yeah.
I have learned over the last few years, especially, that it's in my best interest to just shut up about how much I hate astrology and just keep that to myself, because it is not cool to make fun of it anymore, even a little bit. So I just keep that.
I've come a long way. My girlfriend, who's way smarter than me, is very into it.
Yeah.
And you know what? I've noticed some things during retrograde. You know what? I don't know.
I don't know what that means.
I don't know.
I try
the moon affects the ocean and the tides.
It does do that.
Man. I'm going to give it.
I believe in the moon.
I agree. I 100%. I believe in the moon. I agree with that. What I have gotten to the point of is I just shut up about. Like, I don't necessarily. I haven't changed my opinions on any of the hooky do esoterica, but I just don't. I used to be that asshole. Like, I was a very asshole sort of atheist that would be like, it was fucking stupid.
Yeah,
now I just shut up, because like, why? Yeah. Are you happy? I play with Legos. I'm 42 years old, man. Whatever works.
And she always makes a point that it's not like a predictive text. Do you know what I mean? It's not like you're saying what's going to happen, you know. But like, that's why like the medium thing is kind of. I know my dad, who never bought into anything new agey, like very old school dude.
Yeah,
he went to a psychic when he was like really young, and the psychic said his sister was going to have a horrible accident and she died like 2 months later.
I was waiting for you to be like, she died 62 years later. Yeah, so I don't
like, I'm gonna find that gypsy.
I don't.
You can't say that.
You for sure can't say that word anymore. I just watched Drag Me to Hell recently. I had seen it before, but I haven't seen it in a while. It's very good, but man, it's funny what is like how quickly things can become unacceptable, because that's like 2009, and they say. I guess we'll say the G word. I know we're not supposed to say the word anymore. Romany, the slur for the Romany people. A lot. And like, it's not even that they say it a lot. It's like with some real fucking mustard on it. You know what I mean? Like, they fucking say it.
I burned all my Fleetwood Mac records. You know, I'm just like...
So, but look, I live in Brooklyn. I have slept with multiple psychics, so I feel like I'm an expert on this. But I will say this. Here would be my real answer. The way I do relate to this is my mother in recent years, meaning maybe like the last 10 years, has gotten very into a lot of spiritual stuff, and I didn't like it at first because she was even getting into like the mediums who are like the TV mediums who are clearly like exploiting people's grief, which you know, my mom was going through, and it was like kind of sensitive, like how much do I you know cater to my mother's feelings while not wanting her to be exploited.
Sure.
But as time has gone on, she has we've been able to talk about a lot of the stuff, and she's been able to like pull herself away from a lot of the clearly exploitive stuff. But a lot of the stuff has genuinely helped her and made her a more happy, grounded person, which I think ultimately, is just, it's a good thing. So my advice would be to try to talk to your mother in a way where you're not trying to attack her beliefs, but maybe trying, like, in a more narrow sense, be like, this stuff can or cannot be true. But one thing we do know for sure is that there are people out there who are trying to get your money, who are trying to exploit you. And maybe we can parse some of that out from.
That is, yeah, that's for sure the concern. I think the bigger concern here is not that you are putting your crystals out to get charged by the moon or whatever, because I got briefly into prepping when the pandemic first hit for some reason. So I have emergency whistles and sleeping bags and a hand crank radio in my closet that I could have bought 4 crystals or whatever worth. It's fine. Whatever money you spend to feel some sort of comfort or safety, it's not that, but that is the concern when like your parents are getting older. That they don't understand. They might have been good. They I don't like, how do I say this? My parents wouldn't fall for 3-card Monty or somebody coming up on the street. Like they're that level of street smart, but like would very easily fall for a internet scam or something. You know what I mean? That's
they didn't grow up. They didn't grow up with it.
Right.
Like
so how do
be
you
curious or like leery of that shit?
Yeah, they just don't know when to do that for sure. And then you put in grief and whatever that's like pushing someone into these ideas. How do you then tell your parents, like, look, like, I'm glad you found a thing you like, but like maybe we find you a 6-month mediumship
right.
course.
I wouldn't.
You do the condensed version.
It shouldn't last so long. It affects your marriage in 2022.
Yeah. Also, though, here's the thing that I find odd, and here's what. So she says, these guides have convinced their parents to draw thousands of dollars from their bank account before the second wave of COVID hit, but it doesn't say that they convinced them to like give it to them. You know what I'm saying? Because I think that if that was the case, if it was they have convinced my parents to pay them thousands of dollars, that's how they would have written this letter. So like, are they just convincing this woman to like hide money in the mattress? Because at the end of the day, I'd be like, don't buy gold or whatever from Alex Jones, but there's probably like, there was a run on the banks briefly here in Texas when the fucking storm hit. So like shit happens.
Yeah. I mean, this shit's always been around in some form of it. I remember I came of age in the TV preacher boom when they would sell like anointed rags. That they prayed over. And like one time I remember I was in college and we would like get fucked up and watch that shit and just hate on it and laugh. And like I called and got the like free anointed thing, and it was a tiny square of the cheapest fabric you've ever. They act like it's a big like anointed rag. And it was just this tiny like 1/4 of an inch square.
Even more of a ripoff than you thought it would be.
Yeah.
I mean,
so I do feel bad about like this woman. At the end of the day, I don't want to see this older lady get taken advantage of, but I also do think a little bit of this woman, of the daughter, is a little bit of just like, I don't want this to affect my wedding, which is a reasonable position, but also like
air quotes around. Does she have air quotes around spiritual?
She has air quotes around a lot. There are at least 6 different, I want to say 5 to 6 cases. It's over spiritual, guides, mediumship, certification. There's a lot of air quotes kicking around.
Maybe listen to your mom who's grieving, maybe meet each other halfway.
Yeah. Maybe you take a class with her and just agree to do it like before the wedding. I think you guys can work this out. Like, I don't.
Yeah, a lot of it, like I look at like QAnon as like the same sort of shit, where like people, like when people suddenly dive into spirituality, or the way they would like dive into conspiracy, there's something deeper happening
they're trying to fill a hole for sure.
It's like me with crypto right now. I'm up late watching like live crypto YouTube streams of like just cokeheads in basements talking about the market.
Yeah,
James,
bro. It's not about Ethereum. It's about your soul. You need to work on yourself, dude.
Exactly.
Can I ask an actual question? Are you like, do you have any money in crypto?
Oh yeah, dude.
I don't know what that is. So here, let me ask you a question, and maybe you can explain it to me relatively easily. You both seem smarter than me.
Oh no.
I understand that our currency is essentially fake, right? All currency is like, here's a piece of paper. We have this agreed as a society is worth X amount.
Right.
And there's fucking things that make it fluctuate or whatever. But like,
we can print out more if we want because we're America.
Right.
It all seems like horseshit. Yeah.
Right.
Why is cryptocurrency any better if it is also just a made up thing that, you know what I mean? Why, like, it's just a made up thing, but it's also just made up by some dude I don't know. You know what I'm saying?
Bitcoin was started like in direct response to the 08 housing crisis.
Right.
Or the 08 crisis. And it's based on gold. So there's a finite amount of it.
Okay.
So it has
also gold has no inherent value, but please continue.
Right. Nothing does except podcasts.
Food and podcasts. Yes, yes. Potable water and podcasts are the only thing with inherent value.
Oh, water's going to be on the stock market very soon.
Yeah, they're trading water futures already, right?
Jesus Christ.
Actually,
all right, we're gonna. You know what? Let's skip
me and Alan Strickland Williams started a podcast about us getting into Bitcoin. Called Fake Money. We're 2 episodes in. So
I'm gonna have to give that a listen. Check out fucking Fake Money. That's awesome.
Check that out.
We're gonna go ahead and skip the crypto talk because I am not smart enough to have it.
I'm tired of it.
I am better at yelling at people who ask for advice. So let's move on to our next letter. Dear Abby, I am a male reader with a complaint. We're already off to a terrible start. Have you noticed that women hardly ever compliment men? On anything.
Oh my god! Okay. I'm excited about this.
It gets so much worse. They expect men to compliment them, but never reciprocate. If you move furniture, take them out for a nice dinner, buy tickets to their favorite show, buy them a gift, they don't have enough manners or couth to say thank you or express appreciation. Getting a compliment is like pulling teeth from a great white shark while it's feeding. Don't women ever think maybe I should say something to him instead of expecting him to say it to me? Where do they learn this behavior? Are they taught this growing up, or do they just not care or even realize? Signed, shaking my head in New Jersey.
Jesus.
Also,
same advice, bro. Just work on yourself, and these toxic, weird thoughts will magically leave your brain.
Yeah.
Once you work on whatever it is inside you that is making you hate women. Obviously what is happening here.
I would argue that none of the women he is so effusively complimenting know him, want to be complimented by him. This is just him going, hey, you've got a pretty smile to women on the street. But also I do kind of like the idea that he is just some shitbag dude who's just like, oh, women can't take a compliment anymore, but also just like really wants somebody to say something nice about him. Like he just has that need, you know?
Yeah, dude.
Well, I'm just glad the schools are closed because it sounds like we avoided at least one school shooting.
Women have to deal with so much bullshit just because men don't go to therapy. Like this dude just needs some work done, and he'll get off this weird like 1950s sexism of like,
well, the original letter, the original letter he left this out. It ended with, "You hear that, mother?"
Yeah. I like, but also I don't like, but like this part here where he's like, move furniture, take them out for a nice dinner, yada yada, like and then it says, they don't have the to say thank you or express appreciation. This is a dude who like convinced a girl to go to dinner with him. Mm-hmm. He went wild over the top with a show, a dinner, and blah blah blah. And then she didn't fuck him, and he's mad. Like,
there was a lot of conversation similar to that very strange shark metaphor.
Yeah.
That hit me hard. I'm like, oh boy, I bet you talked her ear off.
This is very like, this guy has like no more Mr. Nice Guy vibes to him, right? Like he was the guy who's like, oh, I'm so nice, I always get friend zoned, like that toxic shit. And now he's like, you know what? the lesson from this is I will no longer be nice.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah,
I was nice so I could get something, which is what niceness is.
And I didn't get anything, so now I only know the pendulum. I only can go from one extreme to the other. So now I'm just going to change my avatar to the Joker.
You're right. I've helped a lot of people move. Yeah. Everyone says thank you. Who is not? He didn't help anyone move.
Psycho. No, he broke into somebody's house. It's like, that's not the same as helping them move. It's like, oh, there's a movie, I can't remember the fucking name of it, where this the person is like torturing this blind person by gradually moving things in their house like 3 inches to the left. I can't remember the movie. It's like this roommate like psychological drama thing, but that's what this dude did by moving furniture. He's just being a creep. Also maybe this line where he's like, don't women ever think maybe I should say something to him instead of expecting him to say it to me? Nobody's expecting you to say shit, man. Shut up and leave these poor women alone.
Yeah.
One of these days, I'm gonna stop telling women on the street that they should smile more. It makes them prettier.
It's just walking up to random women on the street, just like, let me help you move. Why won't you let me help you move? What is up with these broads?
The amount of what I've learned from doing this podcast is the amount. So this shouldn't be a blanket statement, obviously, but the amount of men that write in thinking they're in the right for being as far from the right as like possibly be and that's everybody writes in thinking they're the right side of an argument or whatever. Nobody's gonna write a letter and be like, hey, I'm a piece of shit, but
but this guy's especially trying hard to
frame it. I think Jaffer froze. So also, how old do you think this guy is? My first thought was like old guy, but I'm starting to think this might just be like creepy incel young guy.
I was thinking young immediately.
Yeah,
this is old soul incel.
Yeah. This is I wore a sports coat to junior high school.
My man has a fedora.
You know what I'm talking about? Did you have one of those weird kids? I feel like every school had that kid that like carried a briefcase to school too early. You know what I'm talking about?
I'm a businessman.
I had all those versions. I had this kid that I hated. And let me say, it's gonna sound I'm being cruel to a child. This kid was 18 years old.
That's not a child. I mean, it is and it isn't.
He was, but he did like he thought he was smarter than all his teachers and everything. And one time, like I was in the middle of say something, and he said something real like. He made a joke that everyone laughed at, but I recognized that joke from Reddit, and then I called him out on Reddit. I got to call one of my students a hack, and all those kids learned what a hack was that day.
Oh, that's beautiful. You're doing the Lord's work.
Yeah.
So get therapy. I think we could all agree that dude just needs some help.
Get therapy.
Mm-hmm.
Let's go ahead and move on to another letter. Okay, I like this one. Dear Abby, I found $17 in the pocket of an old coat. Great feeling. It felt like free money, and used it to buy myself some fast food. My fiance is upset, which I think is uncalled for, that I didn't get her anything. That restaurant is expensive, and it's hard to buy 2 meals for that price. Plus, it was my money.
Ooh.
I think I should be allowed to spend money I find, especially since it was in my coat. Unfortunately, she didn't get any dinner that night. It is wild. It has been a week now, and she's still upset with me about it. I never get anything for myself, and I feel I deserve a treat. When I told her that night if she wanted dinner, she should have looked for her own $17 in a coat. She threw my Xbox controller at me. It missed and hit the wall and broke. Now I have to search through all my pockets because those controllers cost a lot more than $17. Signed, Quarantined in Indiana.
Oh, y'all ain't gonna make it.
No, that is a lot. That is, you guys are about to become ex-roommates real fast.
Dude, I'm so far away from understanding what's going on.
That was great. Every detail is like
the thought. So what's wild too is it starts so normal. I found $17 in my coat. Hey man, that's fucking awesome. I have been there, right? That's a great feeling. And then it takes such a turn, particularly when she's like, unfortunately, she didn't get any dinner that night. And what is your life?
And he said fast food, correct? Mm-hmm. Like I can go ham at a fucking drive-through window.
Yeah.
You can't You spent $17 at a fast food joint and didn't get her anything?
You can get her a Frosty or some fries, nothing for sure. But I would like to focus for a second on she didn't get any dinner that night.
Mhm.
Yeah.
So are you guys that like, and look, I have been in a place where $17 meant eating dinner or not eating dinner. But if you're with a fiance and you're at that level, you split your $17 fucking dollars, my guy.
Yeah. I can't believe you would write this letter.
I don't know what to make of this. This is like the most absurd example of food insecurity. Like, I feel like this should be a very sad. This is sad, right? This feels
this
sad.
Is very late capitalism, yes.
Yeah, but it's so crazy. Yeah. Also, his girlfriend threw an Xbox controller at him. That's that can hurt you badly.
Absolutely. That's the heavy object. So there's definitely some abuse happening, but also I think that speaks to the desperation they are experiencing. Yeah. Obviously, $17 is the I eat or I don't eat mark. Now, that doesn't mean you can't have shit, right? You bought an Xbox when you had some money. Now you don't have any money. That's a perfectly reasonable position to be in. But I can see her side of being so desperate and hungry. And then this dickhead says you should have looked in your pocket for $17. I might throw a fucking Xbox controller too.
Yeah. You abuse them with the things they love. Yeah, that makes sense.
What is this letter? How do I get my starving girlfriend to stop being mad at me?
Yeah. Absolutely.
There's away in front of his eyes as he gets out the quill and paper to write this letter.
Yeah, by candlelight. The electricity's obviously been cut off in this house. So just by the last little bit of power to his cell phone that he's just lighting this fucking sheet of paper with.
Yeah, there's Xbox is decorative at this point.
There's a TV show I've watched a shit ton of called Alone. Have you ever watched Alone? It's like a reality show where they put like you get 10 items and then you got to go live in the woods, right? And they put you off like way out in the middle of fucking nowhere, like really deep in like the woods, and you got to build shelter and whatever. And then there is one season. Normally that's the point. So Alone, you have to film yourself. There's not even a cameraman, right? So it's all just you. So they did one season where you go in a pair and you have to like. You're dropped off in two separate locations and you have to find each other and then set up camp or whatever. This feels like there was like if you're on that show and you caught a fish, but then you didn't tell the other motherfucker you caught a fish because like there's a desperation here. I mean,
$17 unless you're at an airport.
Yeah.
Two people.
Yeah,
for $17.
Absolutely.
Every place has a value mill. Do you value her?
No. Clearly not. Also, that restaurant is expensive. It can't be that expensive. But it doesn't matter because we know what this is about. He says, plus it was my money. This is just a dude who doesn't want to be in this relationship. No, yeah. I don't think he wants to be in this relationship. I think this is his this is like the backdoor pilot to him being single. He's just trying to figure out a way to get her to break up with him.
Yeah. It's so funny how quickly he goes from like, I was so lucky to find this money to this is my money. Yeah. I worked hard for finding it. How dare she?
Yeah, that was like a whole season arc in one fucking letter.
The thought that the audacity to write somebody this letter and think for one moment they might be on your side. You know what I mean? Like, there's no way anybody's gonna I can't imagine someone going, you know what? You're right. It is your $17. Fuck that starving bitch. That's an insane, expectation.
The last two letters we like. This episode should be subtitled like "Men Are Psychos."
Well-fed psychos, though.
Yeah. He had 4 burritos. I wouldn't be shocked if he went to 2 fast food places. You ever do that move? When you're balling and you get the burger from one place, but the fries and onion rings from the other place because you got it like that. I feel like that's what happened here. He showed up with 2 bags. She got excited and he was like, no, these are both for me. I didn't get you shit.
This is so crazy.
It's wild, man. It is wild. Let's go ahead and jump to another letter real quick. Let's try.
It's like, do these people think Abby is like a fucking anti-female social?
You got to write Dr. Laura for that shit. This is not what that's about. And then Also, it's such a good letter to end it with quarantined in Indiana. It just speaks to the tension in that house. You know what I mean? They had like just moved. You can feel it. They had just moved in together, and then the pandemic hit, and then they realized we shouldn't have moved in together, but now it's too fucking late. Ooh, rough.
Yeah.
Rough.
He's gonna get the response from Abby, and then he's gonna be like, "All right, dear Gavin McGinnis."
Yeah. Dear Gabby. That's
Dear Gabby.
so funny. Dear Abby, is it appropriate to confront someone in a restroom about not washing their hands, whether at work or in public? I noticed at work that some of my coworkers walk right past the sink or rinse their hands with water for a second and then leave. I think washing your hands thoroughly with soap is more important now than ever, and not washing hands is a health hazard. Signed, Watching the Washing in Texas. This person's obviously right, but the question is,
I was like 100%.
We're in a pandemic. Obviously, 100% wash your fucking hands, you scumbags. Also, we're in Texas. Please wash your goddamn hands. They're not trying to help us. However, it does bring up the question: where are you with addressing other people in this pandemic? So like when you're at the store and you're I'm not wearing a mask, motherfucker, where are you know what I'm saying? And I'm rarely at a store. I'm in a gas station for like 2 seconds or whatever. I don't go to the grocery store, so I have very little experience with this. But occasionally I will be in a store and somebody will be not wearing their mask and
just looking around, like, say something.
That's
how they are out here, man. It's crazy.
Yeah. So where is your level with confrontation?
I am a pussy.
Word. Respect.
Yeah, I don't really. The one I asked very politely, because I was in a clinic, a testing clinic, you know, and it was like the only time I've been indoors at this point for like a while. Yeah. And once I was in there standing in line to get tested, I had that thought. I was like, oh, this is how I get COVID. I guess I might not have it. Maybe. Yeah. And then the lady standing behind me was just like right behind me. And so I just very nicely was like, can you, and then she did. But beyond that, I haven't, you know, especially I think maybe like New York, because you know when I ride the subway, there's dudes in the subway, inside the fucking car who don't have a mask on, and I'm like, I'm not confronting this person who clearly doesn't give a shit.
Do I get COVID or do I get stabbed? What's the fucking how do I want to go out? But like I am lucky in that I am a larger person, and somehow this country still equates. I think this country on some level operates on pro wrestling where like you can like if you're a certain kind of fat, that means you're strong. You know what I'm saying? Like there is a level of that. So like people still like look at me and think I'm tougher than I am. So I am able to like use that a little bit to my advantage. So if people are a little too close, I can get a little like if I buff up my chest a little bit, people will kind of fall back. But like
I just look like Paul Bearer when I'm in
when you're at work, like
at work you gotta fucking wash your hands.
You gotta wash your fucking hands.
We're all touching the same shit.
I'm gonna call you to fuck out because I know you ain't throwing hands at work. You need this job just as fucking bad as I do.
And you know this guy, right? You probably know
exactly.
100%. We're
you know whether or not they have a gun in their waistband.
Yeah, that's true. You can judge the threat level a little bit. Yeah, absolutely. I feel bad, like we talked earlier, or I yelled earlier about how we don't have fucking we're getting rid of the mask mandate here in Texas, but like I know so many people that work service industry that have been going into fucking their bar job and still having to deal with these people like pitching a bitch when you're asked to put on your mask for literally 15 seconds. You have to wear your mask from the door to your table, and then that's it. So like just put your fucking I'm sorry. It's like I said, I'm coming in hot today, but it just is so it's not even funny. It's just infuriating.
No,
a lot of time. I don't mean to make it
enough about Dave Chappelle and Elon Musk.
I mean, I don't want to make any generalizations, but a lot of these people, like probably believe in God and have that mentality of like, well, I'm gonna believe because if it's real, if it's not real, then nothing bad will happen. But if he is real, then I know I'll be fine. Like, apply that to wearing masks and COVID-19.
Yeah. Exactly.
Got nothing to lose. Just fucking put a mask on for 15 seconds.
We moved to Glendale like 2 months ago, Glendale, California. It's literally like 7 minutes. We were in LA proper. We were in Los Feliz. Now we're in Glendale. You go to the liquor stores in here, none of these motherfuckers are wearing a mask. They do not care, dude.
Yeah.
And, you know, it's heavily Armenian. They've been through a lot.
Well, there is that level of like, if you've been through a genocide.
I'm like, I ain't saying shit to them. My white ass coming in here. Like, hey, can you put on a mask? You know, but like, I don't know. It's been interesting to see. They're just like wilding out in the liquor stores, just talking and laughing. And I'm walking in there like still mentally seeing the visuals like of like the spray matter.
Yeah.
You know? Like,
I'm now like,
I think people have given up. You know,
I'm wearing 2 masks. That's where I'm at. I'm wearing 2 fucking masks, as if it makes it like it's such a wild. I'm sorry. I'm sure it's been said by better people than me, but like the idea that a year ago, the only thing that has happened in the last year is that I'm now wearing a second mask. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's it. We've done nothing. Oh, you wore a mask is good. You know, try 2 of them.
Now I'm double bagging the virus.
Yeah. It's funny that you said you bring up like Armenians. Like, I've noticed, like, I think a lot of people have probably noticed that a lot of minority groups are pretty like not doing the right, like COVID the right way, but it's white people who are like most loudly not wearing their mask. So we focus on them, and it kind of.
It's because they're being
the white
dickheads
people want a
about it.
reward for not wearing their mask.
Yeah. Because the white people are the ones picking a fight about it, right? Exactly. Like they're the ones that are like they're doing it in a like I dare you to say something.
I walk in there in a mask, they don't give me shit. If it was white people not wearing a mask and I walked in there with a mask, they call me.
Oh, look at this pussy or whatever. Yeah. I don't. And also, like, I will say this. Get vaccinated. I'm halfway through. Jaffer, while you were gone, I literally got the text that my second shot is scheduled for Thursday, so I'm pumped.
Nice.
I'm very excited. Man. But that being said, I understand Black people being hesitant about the vaccine from a government that has literally tested fucking diseases on them. I understand your hesitancy. That being said, get your fucking vaccine. Don't let them fucking trick you into not doing that. They're playing both sides, right? They fucking torture you and they pull shit like that. And now they scare you to the point where now when they're actually giving you a vaccine, you don't want it. It's the double evil. But like, I can understand their nervousness.
Of course. But if it was sinister, then they wouldn't be vaccinating rich white people in Beverly Hills first.
Exactly. That's my point. Exactly.
Point.
So like, so my overarching point was white people are terrible. Let's move on to our next letter.
That's tough.
And tell your coworkers to wash their hands.
Tell your coworkers to wash their goddamn hands.
Do the heavy. If you don't feel comfortable calling them out, do the heavy eye contact shame and like really scrub it up. Stare eye fucking them, you know?
Yeah. All right. Dear Abby, I have been married for 26 years. 5 years ago, my husband gave a young lady $5,000 through credit card charges over a 6-month period. We are not wealthy. When I found the charges in our credit report, he took a second job to pay it off. I don't think their relationship was sexual because he is impotent. It was hurtful. Yep. While he was taking this young lady shopping, he told me he was at work. Recently, I accidentally, in parentheses, caught him going to another young lady's apartment to help her with things like hanging a TV. I don't care if he helps people. What I do care about is his sneaking around to do it. I have tried talking to him about why he feels the need to sneak. He has no answer. What makes men sneak? Signed, Deceived in Kentucky.
Uh-oh.
So I have a lot of questions.
Well, to be fair, maybe he found 295 jackets for $17 each.
They're his jackets, man. I have a couple of questions, not the least of which is why she put accidentally in parentheses when she says she caught him doing this. Now, obviously, this guy's he's the problem. But also, what does that mean? What you were like? you know, I was just driving behind him in my car, in his car for 3 hours, and then whoops, she went to this house. Like, doesn't make any sense.
Right. Well, I wonder if, you know, the young lady thanked him when he moved her TV for her. You know,
yeah.
This is all one guy.
Yeah,
It's all the same dude, except for the hand washing. This is all the same dude. How do you give someone $5,000 when you don't have any money? Like, what is that headspace? You know what I mean? Like, what is the motivation to do that? Particularly if, as she very meanly points out, that he's impotent.
I mean, he's cheating on his wife. Like, it's,
right.
Yeah.
That's got to be it. However,
at least emotionally, which is also still fucking cheating.
100%.
Like, giving her $5,000 and moving her TVs and shit.
I don't think the impotent thing is like a sign that he can't have sex with other women. I think it's a sign that he is cheating on you. Like, because a lot of times, like, impotency doesn't necessarily mean that across the board you're impotent. It could mean that psychologically in this situation, like, he's not into. There's clearly issues happening there, and I'm imagining that he's probably I don't think he's impotent outside of whatever
He
sadly
might be,
is
and
happening
he
in
just
there.
still gets off on the like.
I was about to bring that
Being
up.
with,
Is this also I think I've
because he's
seen
an older dude, right?
Got to be. They've been married for 26 years, so
Okay, right. Yeah,
he's got to be older. Is this, and I believe I'm using the term correctly, findom? I've seen that on the internet, where you like are into. It's like a dominatrix thing, but the way it is expressed is by you buying her. Like, so there's a dominatrix who's like, you got to fill out my Amazon wish list or whatever.
Right.
Also, I do love very much that somehow that, like, whoever came up with that idea, like, that's real fucking leftist activism. Like, the fact that you came up with a way to take money from rich guys
and not even have to fuck,
and not even you're not even fucking them. Like, God bless. And also, if you're fucking them, God bless. Treat the sex workers work.
Sure.
Good. But like, just the least amount of effort to get some fucking your new fucking boots or whatever. I love it. It's a concept.
I don't think it's likely though that's what's happening, because I would be very surprised if, like, the wife in this relationship, she seems so like just not innocent, naive, optimistic.
Yeah.
And if that's the wife, and then the husband meanwhile is in some like niche shit. You know what I mean? It just seems an unlikely pairing.
I hear you. However, one thing I have also learned from this doing this podcast and reading these letters a lot is that shit happens a lot. People get married and like one of them wasn't comfortable bringing up their kink, but they like their relationship, thinking, oh, maybe once we're married I can bring it up, and they never bring it up, and then years later they find in a web search history that they're into some more interesting, less vanilla.
Well, I mean, I would
activities.
never kink shame, but I do not understand the kink of buying someone's shit.
I would
also,
never
like,
kink shame, but I will I will rich shame all day. And it just seems like just the wild, like, it's such a like
also, he's got money.
Guilt.
He's hiding it from her. He's hiding it from
But they're not rich though. Like,
I don't think they have money. He had to get a second job to pay off the first debt.
That seems like a rich shit, like rich thing to do, like to have all that wealth and power, and then you're getting off on like flexing that power is what I'm imagining. And I don't think it's something that just like regular people.
Right. Well, like most Americans, you know, he wants to be rich more than anything, so he's acting like he's rich. But he's got to get a second job.
This dude, he is having sex with these younger women.
I can only assume,
100%.
The second one, isn't he, like, we're focusing on this like financial whatever, but the second one, he's just helping her hang a television.
It's a different woman too, right?
It is. It's another young lady's apartment. Absolutely, it is.
And his wife accidentally caught him doing. I wanted to know more details about that, but
well, that's a person who's knows that they are being cheated on, and is like, not. I don't want to say stalking is not the right word, but they are trying to figure out, you know what I'm saying? They're like going through their search histories or following them around because they know something's up, and they've caught him doing shit before. So now they feel bad going, oh, I was following him because I know that motherfucker was cheating on me. Yeah,
my man had to pick up a night shift at the graveyard before.
Yeah. To pay off the fucking credit card bill. Also, Jesus. I mean, $5,000. That is like, I know it's so like speaks to my broke boy nature because it's not a lot of money, but it's a lot of goddamn
it's a lot of money.
You know what I'm saying?
A lot of money.
Whew. It ain't $17. I bet you they're out of fucking Xbox controllers. I promise you that.
Yeah, man. He wasn't going to McDonald's. He was taking these bitches to Bennigan's. Right? This was
yeah. This wasn't fast food, fast casual at least. This is Panera.
Yeah.
Getting bread bowls. I don't know why it's making me laugh. Just you get that bitch a bread bowl? Just a funny sentence to say in my head.
I eat that bowl.
Yeah.
Don't you be tossing that bowl away. That's food.
Oh, that's so funny. Guys, this has been a blast. You guys got anything you want to plug? Podcast? Anything you want to people should know about? Where to find you on the internet? James, let's start with you.
I'm at Fritz is Dead on Instagram and Facebook. I mean, Facebook, Twitter. Don't go on Facebook. Facebook's bad.
I'm still on Facebook.
I'm still on it. But
what are you going to do? Jaffer, you're still on Facebook. Come on, guys. Let's hold on. We'll get back to plugs in a second.
All right.
I know Facebook is for old people, but look at me. I'm that like whatever, man. It's still fun. I still see like dog videos and shit.
I know. Every time I want to get off, I'm like, there's literally like 4 friends I'll never talk to again. If I like that are only on Facebook.
Yeah.
Like Adam Burke, I'll never talk to you again.
This happened recently. We had our upstairs neighbors over, and I was showing one of them, this Gen Z person, a meme I had that I wanted to show them, and I showed it to them. And they laughed really hard, and it made me happy. But they were just laughing at the fact that I showed it to them on Facebook, laughing that I'm just on Facebook.
Yeah. Well, we got to move to TikTok and then Clubhouse. Have you guys done? Are you on Clubhouse yet?
No,
I got one, and I don't understand. It's just like
I don't need another. I mean, I know that sounds like every single time I've gotten on
a thing.
Yeah. No,
but it's also.
I'm still processing my hate, my self-hate for having a TikTok, and the TikTok account reminding me, 1, that I'm old, and 2, that stand-up comedy still doesn't exist, and I need something, so I have a fucking TikTok.
Exactly, and that's what Clubhouse I think is too. But Clubhouse is also just like, it's new, but it's the oldest thing in the world. It's a party line. It's literally some shit that's from like the 50s.
Pick up the phone.
It's a 900 number where you call in and talk to strangers. It's fucking insane. Yeah, it's a group.
I just learned what a party line was.
Yeah. See, I'm older than you. I remember the commercials. But like, it was that. It was just literally you call a thing and talk to weird strangers who are also sad and watching the same infomercial for fucking Girls Gone Wild that you are.
Was it people jacking off with each other?
Oh, I'm sure it was. I never called one. I just remember them existing. Anyway, Jaffer, what's going on with you?
Now
where can we
find
listening
to tech giants? So is it getting better?
That's it too. That's the other thing that Clubhouse is. It's like I'll get a notification, and I don't follow a lot of people. I'm not active on it or whatever. But I either get like a notification of like these comic people are discussing what's the best sandwich, or 10 strangers that I've never heard of, or like with $9 signs in their name, are trying to teach me about fucking Bitcoin or whatever. That's the only thing happening on Clubhouse.
Oh yeah, listen to Fake Money with me and Alan.
There you go. Jaffer, what about you? Where can we find you on the internet?
That sounds pretty cool, actually. You could check out me at www.facebook.com/ Jaffer Kahn comment on Facebook, on Instagram, on Twitter. Too ashamed of my TikTok to promote that, so maybe one day I'll get over that insecurity. But for now, my TikTok will remain a secret, which makes no sense. But social media. If you live in Brooklyn or Bushwick, me and my roommate put on this badass show in our backyard. That's outside. We got a heated tent. It's safe. We love it. So maybe reach out to me on Instagram. It's cool. We have badass lines. We have fucking Janine Garofalo on our next one, because that is what New York comedy is. Everyone just wants stage time, so you can get like a fucking celebrity in your backyard. So that's my favorite thing in my life right now, is our backyard show. So
I'm jealous of you, to be honest.
I mean, it's all I got right now. So
that's awesome. I'm at Chris Cubas on all social media. If you like the show, go to Apple Podcasts, give us a little 5-star review, give us a little rating. I'd appreciate it. It helps us a lot. Tell your friends, that helps us as well. And we will be back next week with more bad advice.